Now, in marketing, a 1%er is that little moment when you surprise and delight a client. Sadly, in most businesses, they happen rarely. But over at Platinum Electricians, they surprise and delight every client 21 times. Yep, 21.
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
Welcome back, listeners, to the home of Australia's #1 marketing show and Small Business Big Marketing Forum. I am your host, Timbo Reid, but you, so much more importantly, are a motivated small business owner ready to crank out some great marketing to build that business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. And we are made possible by the very good folk at Net Registry and 99 Designs. Hey team, big show for you today. Here's what we are going to cover. I have got a little fireside chat with a very, very inspiring business owner, all about the concept of 1%ers. Wait for that. You are going to love it. I finished that interview punching the air. I was so excited. I've got a bit of an update on my wanting to get Seth Godin on to this podcast. I've got a listener question about long business names, some inspiring listener feedback, a forum insight, not from me, but from a forum member. I reckon you're going to enjoy that. Give you a bit of a highlight into my week, or some weekly highlights from my week, I should say. I am going to add a motivational quote at the end of every episode. So I got one for you today, and news on upcoming events. So much marketing gold, so little time. The old gold dripping from the ceiling. Well, I hope gold has been dripping from your ceiling this past week. I've had a ripper week. I have given some keynotes. I gave a keynote in Brisbane. In fact, I've been in Brisbane for a couple of days. Gave one at an insurance conference. I ran a blogging workshop, actually, to a whole bunch of insurance brokers, which went really well. In fact, I might record that and do something with it. Either put it in the forum and or sell it as some training for anyone who's interested in blogging. So all the content sitting there, I may as well do something with it. Spoke at Manly at a conference for a company called FIFO. That was good. An old mate of mine. And plenty of other stuff going on as well. I just got a brief from a company, 700-person conference, and I'll be speaking on a round stage, 360-degree stage. Haven't done that before. So that will be a fun challenge. Oh, and I have just signed up for a stand-up comedy boot camp. 2 days, stand-up comedy. I learn how to be funny. Finally, I hear you say, yeah, well, I might just hone my dad jokes, but that'll be interesting because I think stand-up comedians have a wonderful way of getting their message very precise with the least amount of words. And I could do a bit of work on that. Maybe we all could. So it's been a good week. Hope yours has too.
Small Business Big Marketing with Tim Reid.
Okay, listener feedback. This is beautiful. This is from Jason Milne. He calls himself the Paddle Guy. Go and check him out. paddleguy.com. Jason's a forum member as well. Jason says, I've been listening to your podcast since the Lukey days. I think I tuned in 4 years ago whilst a sales rep in Queensland driving long distances between customers. I know a lot of people who do that. Great way to fill in the dead time, says between clients, says Jason. He looked for podcasts that would skill him up in the sales processes and closing the sale and prospecting better. And soon I found your podcast and quickly deleted all the other ones. Oh, you're a good fellow, Jason. Thank you, mate. Before finding your podcast, my my goal was to become a better sales rep. Always in the back of my mind was how to work for myself and allow more time with my young family. Enter your podcast and all the answers were there. By default, I spent a good 2 years absorbing all the info. Ran down a few rabbit holes along the way, but always came back to small business, big marketing to get back on track. Good on you, Jace. I appreciate that, mate. He goes on to say, fast forward to now, here's the exciting bit, team. And fast forward to now, and I have been self-employed for the last 2.5 years. My hours flexible around family, and I'm doing something I thoroughly enjoy. Thanks to you and your efforts, Timbo. Hey, mate, thank you. Well done for listening, actioning, being open to taking advice. He goes on to say, my next goal now that I have successfully achieved goal number 1 is to increase the earning capabilities without putting in 50 hours per week. And he talks about outsourcing in order to do that. I've been around watching and pointing other like-minded people to your podcast whenever I can. I always listen while driving. By the way, thank you for pointing other people to this show, Jason. And hey, listeners, if you know someone who could benefit, a business owner or someone wanting to start a business or someone who's working in a charity, flick them the link to this show. Help them out. Pass it forward. Going back to Jason, I always listen when driving, so don't often get the chance to rate the podcast on iTunes. If I did, they would get highest rating every time. Good on you, mate. Thank you for what you do. It affected my life daily and others that are inspired by what I have achieved. Whenever they ask me how I got here, your podcast and learnings have gained for I have gained for SBBM, and mate, I feel quite emotional about that. I'm at the top of his discussion list. Jason, that's beautiful, mate. Go and check him out, team. Paddleguy.com. He deserves some exposure just for writing that. And good on him for listening. You know, we can hear the same thing 10, 20, 30 times, but it's just we've got to be at the right moment, in the right frame of mind to accept the information. I talk about that with my guest coming up very shortly. If you want to send some feedback, go over to iTunes and you can rate the show. I appreciate it, and I read every single one of them. So, if you are a long-time listener of the show, you know that I have tried to get marketing doyen Seth Godin on to this show. Seth's the writer of many marketing books. I did email him. He declined. I won't go into the reasons because I've been into the reasons before, but he's still on my list as someone I want to get on the show. So, I'm in Sydney late last week. I'm having dinner at the Park Hyatt. Bit of a fancy hotel for young Timbo to be at, but I had reason to be there. And I was having a pre-dinner drink with the people that I was going to have dinner with in the bar there, and in walks Seth. I swallowed my olive. He just walked in, just like that. Now, you're going to think, well, obviously I went up and accosted him and said, get on the show, Seth. I didn't. No. Didn't do anything of the sort. I left him alone. I don't like interfering with public figures when they're on private time. It's a bit of a philosophy I have. So I chose to leave him alone, but I am going to email him and let him know that I was there and I would have liked to have spoken to him and chose not to, and blah, blah, blah. He might respect my decision and feel sympathy for me. But I thought that was funny. I thought, gosh, I've been trying to get him on the show and in he walks. So the saga continues. Not much to add. Not much of a story, really, although I thought that was pretty amazing that he walked in. Saga continues. We'll get him on at some point, somehow, in the future. Don't know where, don't know when. Righto, now I had some fantastic feedback on last week's guest, Mark from online accounting software Sasu. So many great learnings in there, including Mark's respect for the power of great design. You know, as a business owner, I encourage you to ensure all your marketing touch points are designed beautifully. After all, we are a judgmental lot, that's for sure. And that's where 99 Designs can help you. Not only do they make this show possible, but they'll make anything you need designed rock without breaking the bank, guaranteed. Check out these prices, team. Logo design from $299. A brand identity pack, that's logo, stationery and Facebook cover, from $599. A brochure design from $299. Product packaging from $399. Nuts. Absolutely nuts, those prices. So cheap, yet the quality is high. Great designs provide a real point of difference in a crowded marketplace. And that's why many motivated business owners have turned to online marketplaces like 99 Designs. You'll get maximum creativity with their contest model, where dozens of designers compete to deliver the best design for you. You get to be involved in the process and you walk away with a design that truly represents you and your brand. And that's so important. See for yourself, it only takes 1 week and you're guaranteed to love it. Visit 99designs.com.au/SBBM. That's Small Business Big Marketing, and get an exclusive listener gift of a $99 power pack of services, which on average results in 185% more designs. And that's free for you, the listener of this show. Head over to 99designs.com.au/SBBM. So, listener question time. I like this one. It's he. Mark, that would be a he every day of the week. Mark Wenzel says, hey, Timbo, I'm interested to know about your thoughts on long business names, such as Small Business Big Marketing. Are there any drawbacks? Start that in sentence again, Paulie. Are there any drawbacks to long names, and do you think it's okay to go to market with a long name? Mark goes on to say, I was listening to the podcast yesterday on my walk. This is a separate discussion, but I will share it because it's quite interesting. Listening to the show on my walk at 1.5 times speed. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Some of the apps that you can listen to podcasts in, like Stitcher, for example, allow you to listen to it at different speeds. While it took 15 minutes to get used to, it is a great way to attenuate, big word, the word of the day at my local Toastmasters, he says. It means to weaken or reduce in quantity, effect or value. The listening time of your podcast without missing any content. Your podcast inspires me to believe that I can set up and run my own successful business. Damn right you can, Mark, which I am in the process of undertaking. I look forward to it every week, so thank you. By the way, this question's dated back from the 6th of February. I'm a little behind, team. That's okay. We'll make things up. So, long business names, Mark. Yep, I reckon they're okay, but I wouldn't go out chasing one. You know, shorter is better, I do believe. Key things about business names: make it memorable. You want to love it. As the business owner, I think it's great to love your business name. Don't try and please Google by including a whole lot of keywords. You could say that that's what I did, Luke and I did when we started this show 5 years ago, but I just put a bit of a smile in my mind, the idea of small business, big marketing. So that was, didn't sort of think about the length of it at the time. I think the important thing is make it memorable and make sure you, the business owner, love it and sharing it with others. I've got a mate of mine, Dr. Ben, who listens every now and then. Dr. Ben used to have a business called Mornington Peninsula Chiropractic. Very long, very keyword rich, and he recently changed his business name, to a business name that he loves. It's called the On Button, because that's what he does. He turns people on. He flicks their switch, and that's a great example of finding a business name that you love. Dr. Ben went through my brand character process, which is inside the Small Business Big Marketing Forum, and it shows you exactly how to understand what your brand is all about in order for you to come up with marketing touch points, including your business name, that are on brand. That training's for free inside the forum, by the way. Hey, Mark, thanks for your question, mate. If you've got a question for me, listeners, you can send it to questions@smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. All right, this is quite fun. So, I talk about the Small Business Big Marketing Forum every episode. I'm in there most days answering motivated business owners' questions, and there are a lot of motivated business owners in there. Nick May from Walls by Design over in Colorado is one of them, and this is what he's got to say about the forum.
Hey, howdy, y'all. This is Nick from Denver, Colorado, and I just thought I'd give a shout out to y'all down there in the other hemisphere and give you an invite to the Small Business Big Marketing Forum. I know that might be the way you guys think that folks in the Western United States talk, but I'm here to tell you we don't. I'm Nick May from Denver, Colorado, and I own a company called Walls by Design. And I wanted to invite you to check out the forum. Timbo is always inviting folks to come join us. It's $1 to try, but I would say come and stick around for a month and get engaged. It'll return like you won't believe. I've been a forum member probably since December of last year, and just a few things that I have gained because of being a forum member. It's helped me get my editorial mission right, which has helped me get blogging right, which has helped me get podcasting maybe right, which has helped me get my message on my website right. I don't know what the ROI has been, but I do know that I've been way more effective. And if I ever have a question, all I have to do is jump on the forum, pose my question, and I get 3 or 4 responses almost immediately. And on top of that, I have access to Timbo Reid. Yeah, the guy that we listen to every week. Yeah. Come to the forum. You won't be disappointed. Not only do you get marketing ideas, but you also get access to resources. I mean, he's doing these free webinars for us once a month. Those have been amazing just in themselves. But then there's the friendships. I've got all these friends on the other side of the world now because of the forum. So if you want to take your business really to the next step, if you want to go beyond just listening to Timbo and small business, big marketing, come on into the forum. Believe me, it'll be worth your time. See you on the inside.
Hey, now that is wonderful. Thank you, Nick, for sharing that insight into the Small Business Big Marketing Forum. That was Nick's idea, by the way, to actually go and do that. Sort of testimonials, I suppose, third-party endorsements. I like that. And what I'm going to do is give other forum members the opportunity to do that. It gives their business some exposure, and it stops me from having to rattle on about just how good the Small Business Big Marketing Forum is. The catch will be that you have to be a member for at least 6 months in order to get the opportunity to do that, which I think is only fair. Hey, if you want to become a member, if you are sitting on the fence, like Nick said, get in there, smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, and click the forum button and join the conversation. Get your marketing, take your marketing to another level. That's why the forum's there. Now, speaking of taking your business to another level, let me ask you this. How's that digital footprint of yours going? Like, what would I find if I visited your website? Have you got a website? Would you show up if I search for something relevant to your industry? I do hope so. But if not, and you're starting to think that you're an online failure, don't. Stop! You're not alone. And fortunately, the solution to marketing your business online is a lot closer and cost-effective than you think. Thanks to the very good folk at Net Registry, who not only make this show possible, team, but are superstars at getting your online marketing sorted. They can get you the right domain name, the best hosting solution for your website. They can design your website. They can even put together a Google AdWords campaign. So what are you waiting for? Head over to netregistry.com.au today and tell them Timbo sent you. Okay, team, let's get stuck in to today's guest. And right up front, before I announce today's guest, I want to thank my mate Keith Abraham, who has written a wonderful book called It Starts With Passion. Keith introduced me to today's guest, said, you got to get him on the show, Timbo, because this guy is good. And Keith, mate, you were absolutely right. Today's guest is Joshua Nicholls. He is the CEO and founder of Platinum Electricians. Now, get this. In 2001, at the ripe old age of 22, Josh started the business as a tradie in a van. Out of college, out of Sparky school, he starts off being a Sparky, him in a van. Within 5 years, Josh grew the business 1,200% to over 30 employees. And in 2008, he expanded nationally through franchising. And he's now got franchises in all major capital cities of Australia. And he is doing all right. In fact, BRW, that's the Business Review magazine in Australia, ranked him in 2012 the fourth fastest growing franchise in Australia. He sits on the Master Electricians board. He's become a philanthropist, mate. He is rocking it. It's such a great story, this one, of building an empire through amazing customer service and what I call those little 1%ers that surprise and delight clients. He's got a great story, and there are so many marketing ideas waiting to be told. I started off by asking Josh one of the big questions: how many electricians does it take to change a light bulb?
Mate, gazillions. It's a highly complex thing to do these days. So with safety systems and everything else like that, but no, it's
yeah, you got to make it hard because that's where the work comes from.
That's right. It's with all the paperwork you need these days. So
correct. Yeah,
we try and make it electronic, but anyways.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. I had a psychologist on a couple of episodes ago, and the answer to that question was one, but the light globe really needs to want to change. So, now let's talk the serious business of business, Josh.
Yes.
How did Platinum Electricians come about?
Mate, it came about very humbly, to say the least. I was your classic technician, thought I was a bloody good electrician, and thought that'll make me a bloody good businessman. And I soon discovered in the first week that wasn't the case. And mate, it was really a case of me, as I said, thinking I was a fantastic electrician, stepped out into no man's land, totally naive, and put that van on, put myself in it, and I was away. That's as simple as it was when in the founding days.
It's a classic example of many business owners who are very, very good at the skill that the business demands of you, as in being a sparky or building a house or designing a logo. But you know, the skill of running a business is completely separate.
Well, that's it. You, as in the trades business that I am, being an electrician, you spend 4 years to train to be an electrician. But when it comes to business, which is one of the most probably important things, and where you're putting everything on the line and risking your house and everything else, you have the ability to get into it with zero training. So it's quite bizarre.
So you've come out of college. You're a qualified electrician. You have gone and you've started doing what you do best, and then you've realised the running of the business is tough. So
yes.
What did you do?
Yeah, mate. When I first started, I knew I had to have a computer. I didn't know how to turn it on. I didn't know how to put it together, but I knew that it was an essential part. I was operating out of mum and dad's house, out of my bedroom. So it was very, very humble. And then as I started the business, I quickly worked out that I needed customers, so I had to sort of figure out for myself how to get customers.
The old customer conundrum.
And then, yes, I didn't even know what the word was when it came to marketing at the start of my business. That was like another language.
Right.
So I did what I did best and went and spoke to people and said, hey, can I do your electrical work? And they said yes. Mm-hmm. So I was like, excellent. So I kept it very simple. But before I realised it, within the space of I would say probably in the first 6 months, I had more work that I knew what to do with, and then suddenly discovered that this thing called business, I needed to educate myself and learn and surround myself with mentors, because my back end was getting messy. I wasn't giving debt the respect it deserved, and things were like hectic in the background. I was servicing my customers' socks off, but my business was as rocky as it got.
Man, how many tradies and just business owners generally wouldn't have gone and sought mentors?
Yeah, well, I suppose that was just the position I was in. It was something where I knew I needed help, and it was sort of one of those things when you're in that position and you've gone out and bought a brand new van, which was a big thing to me at the time. And when I was seeing it all sort of falling apart in the background, I was like, man, I need help. Ask, and just asked anyone. I suppose it was just in my nature. Mm-hmm. Even when I was at school, I used to struggle massively at school. I used to really try, but for me, school just didn't click, and I learned from a very young age that I had to get school friends and things like that, and I had to learn to delegate and ask and how to do things, and I suppose it just came natural when I stepped over into business that the same thing applied. I just needed to ask.
I put a post on the Small Business Big Marketing Show's Facebook the other day, and it was the definition of the word asshole.
Yeah.
And the definition of an asshole is someone who asks for advice but never implements it.
Yes.
I'm guessing you're not an asshole.
No, I love it. I haven't heard that one before. That's gold. But no, I'm not an asshole. I'm a asker and I'm an implementer. I don't know. In business, I just always think that there's people you can learn from. There's always someone out there doing it better than you. And the idea of the game is just to leverage off people that have been there and done it and that can help you in your vision and mission and where you're going.
You said you asked anyone, Josh. I'm guessing you were a little bit more scientific than that. There were people whose opinions you respected. Maybe it was financial opinions, marketing opinions, people, staff opinions. Yeah, you kind of sought the right people out.
Yeah, so I should clarify that. I definitely, for me, when I did ask people, I actually was very specific about who I asked. For me in business, I would say that I look at people in business as far as mentors and make sure that not that they just have a good business, but they've got a good family life, they've got a good work-life balance, all the things that are important to me in business. I look up to those sort of guys. So, yeah, very much so, Tim. My mentors were very balanced people, and they had a very healthy work-life relationship, successful in all areas of their lives, whether it be investments, business, and the work-life family balance.
Were they people that you already had a connection with, or did you hit up some randoms?
No, I definitely hit up some randoms. Most of the time, it was me being out and about somewhere, and I would hear someone chat. So I had Peter Irvine that founded Gloria Jean's Coffees. I heard him at a business breakfast once, and after the breakfast, I went straight up to him.
Yeah, one of these blokes who runs straight to the front of the stage.
So, mate, if I can I can ask somebody, I will. As you said, I'm definitely not an asshole. I was asking. So, and mate, he took me under his wing and really helped me.
Wow.
I had another business coach who's still with me today and been with me for 10 years and now coaches a lot of my team where he just clicked. We clicked. He's the most common sense guy I know. And in business, that's quite rare sometimes. But, I definitely, I suppose you could say, bumped into people or recognised people's gifts when I was out and about and asked them the question if they could help me on my journey.
So I am guessing, Josh, that you got to a point, I mean, the nature of being an electrician means you're selling your hours unless you can start to grow your business, put on staff and somehow leverage. Right. 6 months in, you said you had no shortage of clients. Yep. Where was the turning point for you? And I know that you franchised 7 years into starting a business. We'll talk about that in a minute. But where was the turning point or that bit of advice that took you from selling your hours into starting to build, I'll call it an empire?
Yes, okay. So I love that word. Yes, mate, I got to the point where I got to around the 4 to 5 van mark. And in the trade business, 4 to 5 vans is at that point where you can't really be on the tools anymore. You're struggling to be the technician and you're struggling to be the business owner. You're sort of in no man's land. And I was at this business breakfast that I just mentioned, and I was running 2 phones at the time. So I had one on each hip. I had no time. I was doing my paperwork at night on my bed till like 2, 3 in the morning. Like I didn't have a life. I was stressed. I had more work than I knew what to do with, but suddenly to me that wasn't a good thing. That was a stressful thing, and I just had no work-life balance. So I got to this business breakfast and I heard this guy speak, and it was like he was only speaking to me in the room. I'm like, mate, I need to get this guy and I need to talk to him because I'm at a stage in business where I don't know what to do. I'm starting to not like it, and I'm letting my customers down, which just wasn't in me to do. I hated that. And I knew that something had to change for me to enjoy my business. I didn't, like, for me, if someone said that I would be where I am now, or 12 and a half years ago when I started, I would have fallen on the ground and started laughing. Like it's a journey where it's just been one foot in front of the other and surrounding myself with good advice. And I think with surrounding yourself with good advice helps you just overcome these hurdles. And I suppose for me, with the person that I surrounded my advice with, he was always drumming into me to leverage out of my business.
You know how you're talking about, like, that guy, who was it?
His name's Stephen Kay.
Okay, so Stephen's, you're in this room of many and he's on stage and you feel as though he's talking to you. I've got this kind of theory that, we can often hear as business owners or or fathers or whatever, we can hear someone talk from stage and we can hear the same message 10, 20, 30 times. But then there's that one day or that one moment in your life where the stars align and that piece of information that you're being told, it's ready. You're ready for it. That your ground is now fertile for that seed.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm going to guess you probably heard what Steve said previously. Someone had said it from stage, or
definitely. I would have read it. I would have heard it.
Correct.
I definitely. But there was just that timing moment where I was at a certain stage and he was speaking a certain topic, and I went, "That's what I need."
So, what was the magic thing that Stephen said on that day to you?
He was just talking about, again, leveraging out of your business, taking that technician hat off and putting the business owner hat on.
It's a big one, isn't it? Like, I remember the first time I heard that, and it's like, oh, wow, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, so one to many. You mean I could be servicing hundreds, thousands of clients?
Yeah, or for me at the time, it wasn't so much about growing my business. It was just getting my life back. So it was, to me, that was the biggest thing. And then as I worked more with Steve, then I realised, oh, hang on, this thing can be bigger, it can be better. And once I got the taste of not being on the tools and being the business owner, then a new lease of life came on me and a new lease of where I wanted my business to go.
Is there a particular tip, Josh, that you can share with the listeners that allowed you to do that?
Yep, I think, look, in business, it's always good to keep yourself accountable to somebody. So whether that's somebody that's been in business, I would say. But for me, the number one tip, surround yourself with good wisdom and keep yourself accountable.
And keeping yourself accountable means telling someone that you're going to do something ahead of time.
Correct.
And making sure that you do it.
That's it. Set a goal, set a vision, and then tell that person to give you a call in a month's time or 3 months' time, and keep me accountable to that goal that I just told them.
Is that a coach, or could be anyone? Could be your wife, could be your mate?
Yep, could be anyone. I always say if you've got a big enough why, the how becomes easy. So if you've got that big enough goal of what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it, you'll hit the goals. Most people know what they need to do. And in this day and age, you've got the internet, that you've got information overload at your fingertips. So most people these days know how to go out and do what they need to do, but they just need to be kept accountable.
What's your why?
Oh, mate, my why is this. I'm a giver. That's my goal in life. In business, in everything that I do, I like to generate income so I can give and help. We have a thing that we do in our business called One Van, One Child. We're sponsoring a community in Zambia in Africa. We've just sponsored over 100 kids in that community. We're about to do our site visit, our first field trip, I should say, in February 2015. So,
wow.
Mate, that's my mantra.
So your why you do what you do, why you're building Platinum Electricians into an empire, is so that you can give back to the world.
Correct.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's very simple.
So in 2001, Josh, you're the man in the van. Down the 7 years in, you decided to franchise.
Yes.
Why?
Okay, good question. So for me, in the first sort of 5 years, I built the business to 12 vans and got myself out of all the day-to-day operations. The business would run, hire, fire, do everything without me. So then I got to a point where I got a little bit bored and thought, well, what's next? We were just based in Sydney, so we weren't doing any work outside Sydney. And then I decided that, well, I don't want to go and live in Melbourne or Brisbane and build another Platinum there. There's got to be a smarter way, because I'm very big on work-life balance. So I started doing the conference circuit and started going to different conferences and trying to learn and educate myself. And I came across a conference in New Zealand, in Auckland, where it was a 3-day super expensive masterclass, and they were talking about shares, property and business. And there was one topic there that only went for about 2 or 3 hours across those 3 days, and it was on franchising. And it was like that light bulb moment. It was talking about how franchising is like a marriage in business. And my two biggest passions that I love in business is building people and building businesses. It's fun. I love it. And to me, when this guy was talking about it, this was everything about franchising, was coaching and building people and helping them succeed in business. So it was an absolute light bulb moment where that was it. I just knew straight away that I was to come back and build my business into a franchise model, because I just knew that it would be success to my makeup and a good way to expand nationally and let everybody share in the brand that I helped create.
So you went down that path, because it's not an easy. I've not done it myself. I've had the owner of Noodle Box on here. That's a franchise. I've had a couple of other franchise experts on this show previously. It's not an easy process. There's templating everything. I imagine the paperwork and the documentation is off the charts.
Yeah, it was huge. It took 2 years just to build the model.
Wow.
So when we say we started, I mean, at that year 7, at year 5, that's when I had the dream to franchise an electrical business. So 2 years to get all the legals and trademarks and everything down tight, systemized and electronic and web-based and all the rest of it. And then we put our first Brave franchise on. And from there, we haven't looked back.
Wow. Yeah, that's 2 years, hey? I suppose that's the business is running itself, so that was your little project.
That was my project, mate. Look, I'd be lying to say that it was all me. I have a team that is just sensational and helps me achieve my vision and goals. And it's been tough, I won't lie. But now that we're sitting with 30 franchisees across the country, I must say it's a fun place to be when you're sharing and helping people achieve their dreams.
You are I can tell, you're an upbeat bloke, you're an optimist. The glass is always half full. What's the darkest moment been in the development of this business?
The darkest moment, I can tell you quite easily. I was, this is before we were franchising. I think we're in about year 4 or year 5 there, somewhere there. We were going great guns from the outside in. People looking in were looking at our business going, that's fantastic. And, mate, on the inside, we had a growth curve that was over 1,200%. And I was just, mate, putting things on, putting vans on, and not giving debt the respect it deserves. And I talk about this a lot, and just got myself in too much debt, too much growth. And, mate, there was a point there where we almost lost the lot. I got to a point where I had to say to my wife, look, I'm not sure if we got to move back in with mum and dad. And this is prior to us having kids. But, like, there was a moment there where I let cash flow just go. I didn't give debt the respect it deserves. I didn't give cash flow the respect it deserves, and got to a point where I'm like, holy dooly, I need to get my act together when it comes to understanding financials and cash flow management and things like that.
So you had a sense of, geez, we've got a lot of customers here. We're not short of business. And just you went off willy-nilly and were buying vans and just spending dough, and in the end outspent yourself.
Absolutely.
Nearly.
Yep, just wasn't educated when it came to financials. Mm-hmm. And as I said, didn't give debt the respect it deserves, and just thought, the money will be right. Like, money's never been a driver for me. So it's been my weakest part in business, because I'm like, we'll make money because we're doing the right thing. But when it's sitting in everyone else's bank accounts, then you go, maybe we need some systems here. Yeah,
it's a bit of a consistent theme amongst the successful small business owners I've spoken to, Josh. Money isn't like, it's an outcome. It's not something they set out to, chase.
That's right.
To varying degrees.
Correct.
So, interesting. That's interesting in itself. So you've got, just quickly, I want to get stuck into this. You got some raving. You got a 21 step process to getting raving fans, and I really want to go deep into that. But before we do that, just wrap some numbers around where Platinum Electricians is today. Staff, annual turnover, customers, whatever you can give us.
Okay. We turn over around 20 million a year. We're running around just shy of 200 employees. We're sitting at around, I think we just put our 100, let me look on the board here, 101 vans in the network. We're sponsoring 100 children. We're all over Australia, apart from Tassie. And we're growing quite rapidly. We've just been nominated in BRW in the Mid-Market Momentum Awards and the Franchise Council of Australia Awards. So we got a lot of recognition going.
Well done, mate.
That would be 32 franchisees running.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Well done. That deserves a round of applause. If it was a live studio audience, they'd be going nuts now. Demand they stand and
Yes.
clap above their heads. Now, let's ease our way into marketing, if we haven't already. You've got a vision, a mission, and a set of core values. Your vision's, which is kind of interesting in itself, because I come across many businesses that at some point have done this and then it gathers dust. And I'm guessing within your business, it doesn't. The vision and the mission and the values are lived and breathed each day. So your vision to be the world's greatest customer-focused electricians.
Yep.
So that's your big picture. That is what we are here to do.
Yep.
Mission to deliver a wow experience to customers that creates smiles and is unforgettable.
Yep.
And then a set of values, which I won't go into any great detail. I'll give you listeners some examples. Create wow through customer service, have fun and smile, be generous and help others in needs. A set of guiding principles, if you like, as to how you go about doing business. And without going into great detail there, Josh, they are instilled in everyone in the business. How?
Okay. We live and breathe our vision, our mission, our 10 core values. It's how we do business. It's how we roll. You can recite to any one of my key management what's our vision and mission, and they'll tell you at the top of their head straight away. When it comes to marketing, which like what this show's about, to me, how you grow a business, how you build an empire, your words, Tim, which I love.
Mm-hmm. You can have those.
It comes down to if all the listeners today listening to this go, well, what's a great experience that I've had in my life? What's that memorable moment? And every single time it'll be an experience that makes them smile and that they can't forget about. So for me, whether it be a restaurant you've been to, whatever it is, building a business and growing a business, to me, all comes down to, one, are people going to stay loyal to your business? And two, are they going to refer you to their friends, family, colleagues, etc.? If you can hammer on those 2 points, then you're going to have a successful, thriving, growing business. So for me, in everything that we do as electricians, is how does the customer feel when we leave their house or when we leave their business? That is going to be what comes down to if they're going to refer us and stay loyal and only use us. So everything that we do in our model is all about delivering that wow experience, that customer service as 2 words sounds so weak, but how we go about what we do with customer service leaves our customers going, holy dooly, I've never experienced an electrician like this. You need to try these guys.
You haven't used the word, but you've talked around it in its entirety, the word emotional. And I had last week's episode, I had the founder of some online accounting software called Sasu, and Mark was all about selling the emotion. And we're talking about online accounting software, for God's sake. Now we're talking about installing PowerPoints. I don't mean to dumb it down, but we're talking about the work of electricians and everything. You didn't even talk about the work. Yep. You just talked about the delivery of a highly emotional experience. How will the customer feel when we leave? This is rare. It's rare and it's powerful because far too many business owners focus on the product or the service and not on the delivery and the feeling that product or service delivers. How you get it? How do you then find another 199 people who get that?
Yeah, I tell all my franchisees that you can take my whole business off me tomorrow and I can go and start any business in any category, whether it be a hairdressing salon, whatever it might be, and have the same success, because people get lost in what they do is going to grow a business, which couldn't be further from the truth. I tell all my franchisees, electrical is just a byproduct of what we do. That's yes, you've still got to do a good job, but that's not going to make your business grow, is being a great electrician or, putting a downlight in 10 minutes faster than the next guy. That's got nothing to do with it. So most businesses, the core product of what you've got to do is, yes, you've got to do a good job, but that's not what grows a business. What grows a business is how you deliver that core product.
Yeah. Goodness me. Well, we're going to talk about that. Do you think one day, Josh, you will actually test what you just said and go and start a business completely unrelated to electricians just to test it?
Look, I'm a passionate cyclist. I will admit this, and I've never said this publicly anywhere, but there will be a day where I'll be starting a cycling shop, so you could see, but it will have a massive twist, and it will be everything about what I'm doing, and it won't be to make money, I can tell you that. It'll be done out of pure passion because I'm passionate about cycling, but when, where, you'll have to wait and see.
Wow. Well, I look forward to that because I became a middle-aged man in Lycra one Sunday ago. I'm doing the Great Victoria Bike Ride with my daughter in November. We're riding 700 kilometres. I haven't ridden a bike for 30 years. The last bike I rode was a Malvern Star dragster with 3 on the floor, and it was purple. And I literally bought a bike 2 weekends ago, hopped on it, rode 30K and loved it. Not big fan of the Lycra, but have been through the process of buying a bike. And these guys are under the pump. Online retail is killing a lot of bike stores. But I came across one that offered a wonderful experience and amazing customer service. Like as a Dumbo going into a bike store, not knowing what bike I need, these guys made me feel highly cared for and walked out feeling pretty smart afterwards. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Hey, let's get stuck in, Josh. Your 21-step manifesto, I'm going to call it, to creating raving fans. Can you give us some insight? You call it something different. What is it? And let's pull out some key components of it.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, so what we do, which in relate to giving our customers that wow experience, that we can have the best marketing in the world as far as online, and we can have the best girls answer the phone, and we can do everything from a head office point of view, but there's a stage where we've got to hand over to our field technicians. Now, our field technicians are really our face of our company. We can have the best marketing, but if they drop the ball out on the field, then we've got an issue. We're not creating that experience. We're not following through with what we've promised online. So we have what we call the start to finish process. It's a 21-step process, and it's what we train all our field technicians in to deliver that experience to the customer, that when we leave, they're just like, oh my goodness, I've never experienced somebody like that before. So in that process, we go down to, obviously with 21 steps on what we do on site. None of those 21 steps are about anything to do with their work, the electrical work or how they put in something or whatever they do. It's nothing to do with that. It's 21 steps on delivering an experience to the client, from what we do when we first arrive, or even before we arrive, I should say, to when we leave the job, and then follow up. So we've got some things in there as far as, and look, before I start on it, there's a lot of things there that's, I call it sort of the old chivalry service, where it's like opening the car door for the wife. Like there's some things that get lost in time there, but customers really appreciate. So we're very specific with our guys on how this process works, because it's all these little things that create an impression. So
these are the 1%ers that we forget about.
100%. These are the 1%ers, and there's a lot of 1%ers. And if you do all the 1%ers,
you got 21%. You got 121%.
Yeah, you create an experience. So for us, they're little things, but they're very specific, and there's obviously a lot of little things. So
going from 1 to 21, you're literally prior to arriving at the job, and then I'm guessing 21 is after you've left the job, and then there's everything in between. It's a time sequential order?
Yes, correct. So the 21 steps are all in order, but to give you a bit of an idea, it comes down to, like, before we arrive on site, what time we're very specific about when we arrive on site. So if it's 7:30 that the appointment's made for, we don't turn up at 7:20, and we don't turn up at 7:30. We turn up at 7:25. Now, that seems quite simple or quite little, but literally we're very on purpose on how we go about our whole process, from where we park the van to how we walk from the van to the customer's house, to what we do when we get to the customer's house.
Hang on. How does one walk to the customer's house? Is it a swagger?
I should say it's the route we take to the house. So we don't just walk across the front lawn, or if we're at a business premise, you know what I mean? We don't just we walk at designated pathways. And
no moonwalks.
Yeah, no moonwalks, so no swaggers.
I've heard you actually arrive, a little birdie tells me, 15 minutes early, park around the corner, roll up 15 minutes early is an inconvenience. 15 minutes late, you're incompetent. You are there 15 minutes early. That customer doesn't know. You walk in 5 minutes early, you're a superstar.
That's right. So even if our guys, if it works out where whatever reason the last job finishes early or whatever like that, we won't sit out the front of the house in our van, but we will go and park wherever it is so the customer doesn't realise, but we'll make sure that van rolls up there 5 minutes before before we're meant to be there.
The anal retentiveness in me, Josh, needs to know this, but I get how you can do that as your first job, but you're half a day in, you're 3 jobs in. How do you stay on time?
Well, we have a $50 cashback on-time guarantee, so we have to be on time. We don't have an option. If we're not on time, we're paying money. So, and I think that's what our customers love as well. They know that when they call us, they're going to get us. Now, there are extreme...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there are extreme examples, I won't lie, where we will get stuck on a job or we will get hung up, but we will over-communicate that to the customer. They will know well in advance, and then we'll be looking at compensating them, not just with money, but we like to laugh with our customers. We'll shoot them a couple of free gold-class movie tickets, or we'll really go above and beyond. So if that customer's left an extra 5 minutes or 15 minutes than when we said we were going to be there, they will be very happy that we're late because they're going to get compensated massively for it, not just in monetary, but just how we go about it. Customers know that we value them and that it's not something they know that we definitely couldn't have got out of, being 10 minutes late if that was the case. But it's very rare, and we schedule our guys with all those sort of capabilities in place that if something gets held up, we're still going to make our next customer on time.
Does that part of the manifesto mean that, does it not force you to rush jobs or leave jobs unfinished that you have to come back to?
No, absolutely not. So it comes down to smart schedulers. So we have somebody in our office, his full-time job is just scheduling our guys. And he's a wizard when it comes to, obviously he's an electrician by trade as well, so he knows how long things are going to take. And we say to our guys, nothing is about, there's no points for getting in and out of that premise super, super fast. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a line there. We don't take our time and charge our customers extra for nothing, but our whole goal in what we do is delivering customer service. So you've got to take the time out to talk to the customer to make sure the customer needs are met. But it comes around having that key person that knows how your customers click, knows how long things take, know your tradesmen intimately so they know how they work and how long they take. So it is an art. It's not something that you can just whack anybody in and say, run the guys. Like it's quite an art in itself to schedule in a way where you can deliver a service 100% of the time.
Give us some more of these little 21 steps, Josh. I'm fascinated.
Oh, mate. We look, before we even walk into the house, we put down a floor mat before we walk in. And on that floor mat, there's a cheeky little line on it that says, notice the difference. Before we walk in, say for a customer's house, we've got things that go over our boots. We've got dust busters in the van. We've got things that when we're on site, I say to the guys that if there's something there that's small to do that you can see that's an issue, we call it the freebie. So everyone loves a freebie. Mm-hmm. So if there's a light flickering or there's a switch that's a little bit broken, I say just fix it for nothing. That's, and don't make a big hoo-ha in front of the customer. Just say, oh, look, I noticed something that was broken there, and look, I just fixed it up because I'm fussy with that sort of stuff and I've got authorization from the boss. Don't worry, it hasn't cost you a cent, but we just want to make sure that things are right in your house. Just little things. It's giving back, not just taking all the time.
Listeners, just in case you are wondering what you have just tuned into, because there's marketing gold dripping from the ceiling, that is Josh Nicholls, founder of PlatinumElectricians.com.au. This is brilliant discussion, Josh. Thank you so much for sharing so far. We're nearly there. I don't really want to stop the interview, but you've got to stop at some point. Any chance that 21-step manifesto, can I get a copy of that to share with listeners?
Look, it is our IP.
Yeah,
I won't lie with you, Tim, so I won't give it out, but I'm happy that if a listener wants to get in contact with me or something like that and have a chat, that whether they contact you and however you want to work it, I'm happy to have a chat with people, but I'm not sure if I want my absolute intellectual property
No, I respect that. Give us one more then before we leave it.
I would say, look, a very simple one is this. When the job's finished, a day later, we call our customer back just to say thank you.
Nice.
So
none of those things are magical, hard, expensive to you. It's just like it's such common sense, and you've gone and put them together.
Yep.
You know, well done. I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? This marketing thing where I often find myself saying from stage, you know, it's not brain surgery, this stuff.
No, listen, when I train our franchisees, and there's a whole day with just me and them in a room, where I train them in the sales and marketing side of the business. And when I finish the day with them, they're like, man, everything you're teaching us is so simple. It's so clear, but how come no one's doing it? And I say, that's right. Nothing I teach you is rocket science, but everything that I teach you is how to get referrals and have customers stay loyal. And it's simple stuff, but it gets forgotten over time.
What impact does all of what you've just shared have on how much you charge? Are you really expensive?
When it comes to charging the customer? No, look, we're mid-range. I'm not going to say that we're bottom of the range or that we're at the very top, but we're very competitive.
The underlying question there was like because you're adding such extreme value and creating such an experience and creating so much wow that surely price becomes less of an issue. Whereas so often the first question is how much is it going to be?
Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm talking with this 21-step process, you think, man, that must take a lot of time and the customer's paying for this. But all the things that I teach, like putting a floor mat out takes 3 seconds. Putting boot covers on takes 5 seconds. Like everything that I teach and how we deliver our customer service model doesn't take any extra time. It's just how we go about what we do. As far as price point goes, look, we're middle of the range. We do make a profit. That's what we're in business for. But our biggest thing is that we have loyal customers. We get referrals. We don't have to advertise to a degree. Obviously, we do some advertising, but our ad predominantly all online.
Yeah,
that's
like Google AdWords, Facebook ads, stuff like that.
That's it. Google is our. I suppose if you could sum it up in a word, Google would be a big part of our strategy. So yeah, I don't have to spend bucket loads on advertising because I know how to market my business. And I teach my franchisees the same thing, and that way we can keep our price point that's competitive, profitable, everyone's making $1, and we can deliver a service that people don't forget.
How much, marketing's such a broad term, Josh, but like how much do you think you'd spend on marketing a year in the last 12 months?
Or for a business that turns over 20 million, you'd probably talking maximum 100 grand.
Yeah, wow.
Max.
Wow.
Well, that's with advertising as well.
That's advertising, that's website design development, that's stationery, business cards, van wraps, the lot.
Yep, we don't.
Yeah, see,
advertising doesn't grow a business, let me tell you that.
Well, advertising's a small component of marketing, so that's why I said marketing's such a broad term, but still, I mean, that's nothing.
Yes, no, it's there's so much work out there for everyone. The trick is just knowing how to get it, and being that marketer, knowing what your customers want.
You offer an amazing experience. You offer a wow experience to your customers. There is the voluntary them telling others about it. Is there some way that you actively ask them to tell others about it?
Yes, like that's part of our 21-step process where we don't sit there and ask for names and numbers, but we definitely say to the customer, part of our process at the end of our job is that, we make a joke of it and say, hey, make sure you tell your friends, or if you know anybody that can use our services or want to be wowed, make sure you pass on our details. We'd love to hear from them. We're growing our business and we'd love to help anybody that you know as well. So we end sowing that seed to tell their friends. And look, the biggest part of our business is referrals. So we're constantly sending our customers gifts and movie tickets and lots of different things that we do to say thank you. But that's a big part of our business. Every week there's stuff going out to customers to say thank you for the referrals. So
have you got some kind of structure or levels of there's customers and there's customers. I mean, if you come to my place and fix a PowerPoint, I'm now a customer, I wouldn't be expecting to get a couple of gold class tickets, probably write off all the profit on the job.
Yeah, look, it depends. We look at customers as a lifetime customer. We don't look at them as a one-off transaction. So if we know you'll always need an electrician in a residential situation, once or twice a year, you'll need us. So we know that we're going to come back to you constantly because of the service that we give you. We just know that you're going to be loyal to us and you are going to give us referrals. So when it comes to what we give, sometimes with the first job, what we give back is a lot of the profit in the first job, but we don't look at the one-off transaction. We look at the repeat side.
Wow, then you create an expectation. It's like, geez, I just had these blokes come and put a PowerPoint in and I got 2 gold-class movie tickets. I'm going to get them to come and put 3 PowerPoints in and see what I get.
Yeah, well, that's the experience though. I've just sold you without you knowing, where you're there going, holy dog, these guys are just, one, they just rocked my socks, and two, they've just sent me this. How are these guys even making money? Man, I'm going to tell someone, I've never experienced this before. Suddenly, you've told 3 customers, you're happy, you're out to wife at the Gold Class Movies going, how good is this? We're here because of our electricians. Can you believe it?
Josh, I've got some small business owners in my forum that are going to just wet themselves when they hear this interview. Not to put too fine a point on it. Last question, mate. A little birdie, our mutual friend Keith Abraham tells me that you actually have a book club for electricians.
Yes, listen, I'm big on education. I love, I'm a firm believer that you build the business owner and the business will just automatically grow. It's as simple as that. So for me, in what I said earlier in the interview, is my passion is building people and building businesses, but the first step is building people. So with all of our franchisees, they receive a weekly thought off me every week of what I'm thinking. It's raw and it's exactly where my head's at. But I also have the book club where all of our franchisees are on a book club, whether they want to do it audio or read a physical book. But yeah, the books that we give them, we try and get through a book a month, so 12 a year. And look, some of our franchisees have never read a book since primary school, but they get into it because they see the benefits it has to their business. So all the books that we give are on the customer experience. It's about marketing, very specific to the journey that we're on, because with our franchisees, it's all about growing their businesses, them not being technicians. Well, I suppose I should say this now. Our 2 biggest things for our franchisees is this. 1, get them off the tools. 2, get the business to work without them.
Yep. Yeah, right. Therein lies the need for ongoing education. So I imagine a whole lot of just Sparkies sitting around a circle, maybe some are knitting, others are just legs crossed saying how much they enjoyed the book.
Yes. Yeah, I always call it the nerdy book club, but in all seriousness, there's guys are getting massive revelations out of it. They're changing their businesses. They're achieving their dreams just by the motivation in coaching and helping them just absolutely grasp the marketing model, because we give them all the systems, we give them all the templates, we give them all the branding. The biggest thing is, the one thing I say to the franchisees that I can't do is hop inside you and move your mouth for you. That's your job. So one of the biggest things we train in our network is on how to market yourself, self-marketing.
Mate, I'm going to leave it there, Josh. I am humbled by some of the things people share on this show, and you have been no exception to that. I'm excited by the kind of marketing you've talked about. There have been light bulb moments for me. There have been sparks flying. Not to put too fine a PowerPoint on it.
No, all good, mate. I appreciate your time, Tim, and it's been good chatting with you.
Good on you, Josh. Thanks, mate.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah. Right there is marketing GOLD. I hung up from that interview and I was pumping the air. I was so excited. I love talking to guys like that who have just got such a beautifully simple, elegant, smart approach to marketing, to growing their people, to, all sorts of stuff. Loved it. I normally give a top 3 set of learnings thanks to Net Registry and 99 Designs. I'm going to give you top 7 because there was just so much gold in there. Number 1, work-life balance. Get it right, team. Hey, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So have some fun. Number 2, seek mentors and get into personal development. Okay, that's why you listen to this show. And I reckon that's been a top tip from many episodes, from many successful marketers that I've spoken to. Number 3, will people stay loyal and refer us is a great question that Josh asks and has his Sparkies ask themselves. How does the customer feel when we leave? What a great set of questions. Good questions elicit great answers. Number 4, have a start to finish process of 1%ers. Go away and write your list of 1%ers and post it on the show notes of this episode. I dare you. It doesn't have to be 21 steps. Even if you've just got one 1%er in your business, I'd love to hear about it. Go to the show notes at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. This is episode 205. Number 5, build your people. I love how he's got a book club for all the electricians sitting around there doing their knitting and legs crossed and just talking about books. I love it. Great. Number 6, weekly thought to all staff. I love how he does that. Staff retention, major problem in all businesses. I reckon Josh would have a very high, staff retention rate. And number 7, remember that great marketing isn't complicated. It's not brain surgery. Do the little things well, do the big things well. I don't know. It's just not complicated. Have fun doing it. Make marketing a hobby. Oh boy, I was pumped after that one. I hope you were too. Head over to the show notes, please, and let me know what you thought, because there may well be other learnings that I missed. You picked up. Would love to hear them. And of course, we talk about every episode inside the Small Business Big Marketing Forum. Big thank you again to Josh Nicholls from Platinum Electrician and my old mate Keith Abrahams for introducing me to him. Now it's time to say goodbye. Well, what a big show. Upcoming guests, though, and I still have got Quote of the Week. Little new segment, very short segment, but I want to share that with you each week to leave you on a high note. But upcoming guests, one of Australia's leading multi-level marketers. Haven't had that conversation on the show for 3 or 4 years. It's time to do that again. I got the past Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Jeff Kennett. That'll be interesting. And I have got Australia's leading humour coaches who are going to show us how to inject humour into our business. And we all need to laugh more. There is no doubt about that. If I haven't told you already, the Small Business Big Marketing Forum is the place to be. Get on board. Remember, there is a meetup for listeners in Melbourne on September 25, 2014. So if you're listening to this in a year's time, don't go, because it won't be on. But you can go to meetup.com/small business big marketing and find out all the details and RSVP. So I'm looking forward to that. Big thank you to the team at netregistry.com.au for getting your online marketing sorted, and to the team at 99designs.com.au/SBBM. You can get beautiful designs done cheaply and quickly over there. Thanks for making this show possible. Okay, let's go with the quote of the week. I need some kind of music to kind of introduce the quote of the week. I feel maybe I am wrong, listener. I don't know. Right now I don't have any, so, I'm just going to go with the quote of the week. This week's quote of the week is, action creates reaction. All right, that is it. May you have a wonderful week. May your marketing be the best marketing. See you later.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.